Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is Rabbi Stephen again, Rashbi in the house with this week's 10-minute Torah. So, a couple of things. First of all, as most of you know, we are going to be participating in the ultimate community event, Shabbat Across America and Canada. And in America, that's the U.S. Of course, we could say Shabbat Across North America, but, sorry, sometimes I get a little too verbose. But this is happening on Friday, March 1st. And it is sponsored by the National Jewish Outreach Program, NJOP. And it is basically designed, there's a lot of Jewish people out there that are not affiliated with synagogues or don't come to services. And we want to bring them into the community, even if it's just for a little bit at a time. So we're going to sponsor this very special Shabbat. We're going to have a meal, a potluck dinner, 6 o'clock p.m. Friday, March 1st again. Now, NJLP asked that it's a kosher meal. So, once again, bring a dairy, disposable pans, okay, you know the drill. We'll use throwaway silverware, so we don't have to worry about that. And then at 7 o'clock, we're going to start the service. It's going to be mostly musical. And it's going to be a learning service. So there's going to be explanations in there, at various points. And instead of a sermon, I think what we'll do is a question and answer in case, everything you wanted to know about Judaism, but were afraid to ask, now's your chance. And it's a way, to get the community more involved. But it's also, I think a lot of people really don't understand the spiritual implications and the relevance of Judaism. And that's one of the things we're doing at B'nai Chaim, or Congregation B'nai Chaim. We are looking to make Judaism relevant. We all face the stresses of life, and people turn to religion. Religion, the word comes from the Latin religare, which means to adhere to, and that's what we want to do. We want to bring people and show them that yes, your religion means something. It's there for some good reasons, and let's show you what we can do. As far as this weekend goes, I will not be officiating. We have a special bar mitzvah, David Wallace, and congratulations to David. He's worked hard. He and his mom, Kara, and their dad, Alan, have been coming to Saturday morning services, and he's been practicing. He's been doing very well, and he will become a bar mitzvah this weekend. The bar mitzvah will be officiated by a guest rabbi, Joshua Ginsburg Margot, who moved away from the area, but he's maintained touch, and some people, still have, of course, a relationship with him. So he's going to be coming back, making a special trip to officiate at the bar mitzvah. So I will be officiating in a week from that. So, but hey, check it out. Let's see. Give David your support. So this week's portion, Tetzaveh. So it's interesting. Some of the portions on the surface don't, some seem to be more interesting than others. This is one of those portions that seems to be kind of banal, just kind of like, okay. And it starts off talking about the oil for the lamp and how, they pound the olives lightly so it gives a little bit of a drop of oil. And the first drop of oil is the most pure, and that's what goes into the receptacles of the menorah, and also the Talmid, the Yesh Talmid, the everlasting light, in order to keep it burning. Now, the menorah was typically burned from evening to morning, and it was the Kohen Gadol's responsibility to make sure they did it. All right. So that's how the portion opens up. Then it talks about the garments that the Kohanim, specifically the Kohen Gadol, the head priest, wears. And it goes into what they are and how they're set up. So just kind of as a little bit of learning, I'll go into that a little bit. Basically, there was 8 garments that the Kohen Gadol wore. And they wore a robe, they wore a tunic, they wore an ephod, which basically looked like an apron. Then they wore the breastplate, which contained the Urim and Tumim. Now, Urim and Tumim, so the breastplate was folded in half. And on the outside of the breastplate, you had 3 rows of 4 gemstones, which were inscribed, each of them with the name of one of the 12 tribes. And inside the pocket of the fold went the name of Hashem, the ineffable, the unknowable name of Hashem. Now, Rashi seems to think that there was other names. I mean, there are other names of Hashem. In fact, if you have the Art Scroll, which is the Orthodox Machzor for Yom Kippur, they have some of those names that they put, and you're supposed to scan it. There's some times during the service when you do that. But the idea was that the Kohen Gadol was so close to Hashem, when they had a question, a problem, they would consult Hashem. The different stones would light up, and it was up to the Kohen Gadol to figure out which letter it meant and in which order. That way, that was their answer. So that was the really unique part. And, it's sort of a divination of sorts. One of the few times in the Torah where they talk about that. But that was the purpose of that. The Kohen Gadol also had sort of a turban. He had a little, not really a crown, but kind of a gold headband, if you would, that went around, that was inscribed with the words Kadosh Kadoshim, holy to Hashem. And it had little ropes where he would tie it around here and on top of the turban that would hold it in place. It was back on his head enough so where he could, when he did his tefillin in the morning, he could, put the block here and, of course, do his arms. So, what is the implication of talking about the Kohen Gadol? Why devote a whole portion to the idea? First of all, consider the fact that when the Kohen Gadol dresses up, he's dressing up for Hashem, to minister specifically to Hashem, to do the things that are important for the people. Now, it's very important that we understand that even though the Kohen Gadol may have had a special relationship with Hashem as the representative, as Jews, we do not go through any intermediary to talk to Hashem. You can pray at a synagogue for Shabbat, and of course we encourage you to come, so we have a minyan. As a minyan, and there are specific prayers that are only said when we have a minyan. You can also pray at home. Now, the prayers that we say when they're minyan, there's not a lot of them. It's mostly the Kaddish and a few other things. But you can do probably 98, 97% of a service at home, pick up a prayer book and do it, and you're praying to Hashem. And it's between you and Hashem. Same thing with Yom Kippur. Even though the Kohen Gadol would dress in special clothes, not the ones that he would wear usually to do his daily rituals, but when the Kohen Gadol went into the Kadosh Kadosh, the Holy of Holy Rooms, okay, then and he did atonement for the sake of the people. He was just a representative. If it's the same thing, think of it this way. When you're in services, and many of you may not be adept in Hebrew, but when the Tzliach Tzibor, whoever's doing the service, the emissary of the congregation, which is what Tzliach Tzibor means, or myself, the rabbi, or any other rabbi or cantor, or whoever, we have people that are very adept at doing that, then you say, when we get done with the prayer, you say Amen. After the first Baruch Atah Adonai, you say Baruch Shemo, blessed him and blessed his name, or Amen, which means come from Emunah, from the word truth. What you're doing is you're taking on that prayer for your very own. You're acknowledging and saying, yeah, me too, in a way. So even though somebody is representing you, because you may not know the Hebrew or may not know the order of the prayers, by saying Amen or by and acknowledging, that's an acknowledgement, and you are taking the blessing of the prayer upon yourself. Same thing with the Kohen Gadol. The point of the clothes, of the garments, is that when we go to synagogue these days, since we do not have a temple, you are facing the Creator and the sustainer of the universe, our Father, our King, the ultimate, merciful, loving Creator, sustainer. You want to dress that way. You want to dress special. It is said that if you go off during the week and buy new clothes, the first time you should wear those new clothes is Friday night, Saturday morning services. That's what they say. If you went to a court of a king to ask for something, how would you dress? You dress in your best, wouldn't you? Because you want to impress the king. We do the same thing for Hashem. Now, getting back to the idea of the breastplate, the Urim and the Tumim, which is what the stones were called. Urim means lights. Tumim means completion or perfection. So the idea is that these were perfect lights. They were completion. The completion talks about our relationship with Hashem. They said, Hashem, we are looking to complete God's design on earth. Hence the idea of the perfect lights. And again, because of the idea that this is how God kind of communicated his idea through the Kohen Gadol. Now, some people might say, well, wait a minute. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Aaron, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all those people, did they need the breastplate? No. But see, the whole idea was a sort of a pomp and circumstance, to show the people, see, God is there. Kind of a demonstration. Okay, so I will not be officiating this weekend, but I will be there Saturday morning. Following week, we are at March 22nd, will be our family service. The kids will be leading it. They get very excited. I know they kind of feel, oh yeah, whatever, but they get very excited. They like doing it. And then March 1st, please be there. We want to see you. If you haven't been to services all year, since the high holidays, this is your chance. We want to see you. Let us show you what we can do. Make us prove that it's good for you to be there, okay? Shabbat Shalom. Thank you once again for watching, and talk to you soon.